we're going to get your take on this first story today because we are going to begin with a celebrity one. It's an interview with People magazine where Lea Michele is saying she offered to carry a baby for her really, really, really good friend, Jonathan Groff, if he wanted to be a dad. This is a big loaded question. Would you ever consider, Scott, would you ever consider carrying a baby for your friend or asking a friend to carry a baby for you?
Well, first of all, I would say yes, I would consider carrying a baby because I can assure you that that commitment would go unfounded pretty quickly. But this is something that my boyfriend and I have talked about. And
wow.
We aren't at a point yet where we're seriously considering kids. But I do know that surrogacy is an incredibly important component, especially to gay couples who are looking to become parents. And it is particularly special when it's someone you know, right? So if it's a cousin or if it's a close friend, I just think it's important that the communication lines are wide open right away.
Yeah.
Because in some cases, a woman can say, hey, I will offer to carry your baby, and how she feels at the time of conception could be far different than when she gives birth 9 months later. There's a connection that occurs sometimes. So as long as the communication is wide open, as long as there's an understanding of what the parenting is going to look like after the baby is born, I think it could be a truly healthy and wonderful and rewarding thing.
You tell me if this is too personal, like, because you said that you and your boy are not ready for it yet, but it is something you're. So have you made a list of possible people? Like, have you gone that far? Like, you know, where Lea Michele's offered herself, or they've talked about it, or and you don't tell us who is on the list, but is there someone? 3 people you have in mind?
Well, first of all, hi, Xander, if you're watching.
Is that your boyfriend?
Yes, okay. Xander's my boyfriend. And, you know, I think that I would say this, he is a little more open-minded to the notion of being a parent at this particular point than me. So maybe sitting here with you will pull me along in that direction.
I think the answer's no, Lainey. The answer's no.
We haven't gotten to that point where we've itemized who could potentially
people can
carry
still
a child
apply,
for us.
that means.
People can still apply. I don't think they're there, Lainey. Read the room. Read the room.
It's interesting. I know a woman who did this. She never wanted kids of her own, but her best friends were a gay couple, and they asked her, and they did exactly what you were sort of mentioning, like the idea of having the fine print laid out.
Did they have a lawyer involved?
They did have a lawyer, which I think was very, very important.
Yeah.
And she says it's been one of the most satisfying things she's ever done because it ended up being a baby boy, and that baby boy's in her life to a certain degree. They haven't told him, but one day I think it sort of extends the family in a really beautiful way.
But did they write that out in the contract?
I'm sure they did.
It was all written out. But Joanne on Facebook, she brings up a good point. She says, I loved being pregnant. I'd love to think I could do this for someone. But part of what I loved so much is that my babies were kickers. They made me laugh. I fell in love with them from the get-go. So I'm afraid I'd be incapable of giving the baby away. So thanks for that honesty, Joanne.
Yes, Sin, what do you think?
I mean, I love listening to these stories. I would have totally done this during a certain window right after I gave birth. Like a couple years afterwards, I think what happened for me was I didn't really necessarily, I wasn't sure I was going to become a parent. And so getting pregnant when I did, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be a parent. I didn't think deeply during my pregnancy that this would be the last time or the first time. I didn't think. I feel like I was just like running ahead with my career and I just happened to be pregnant. And then all of a sudden I have this baby and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I spent more time thinking about being pregnant. So I was pretty much offering up my womb to all my friends who were having, do you want me to get pregnant for you? I'll bear your child. I will give up my womb. I don't know, I was in a frenzied state, but I think I would, for all the reasons that Scott's saying, like if it was somebody close to me, I think there's a way to do this where you already want to be and you know you're gonna be in those people's lives to begin with, and you just, like, I think it's a beautiful thing if you could do it. I'd rather do that than give up a kidney.
Wait, but what are you offering? Womb and egg or only womb?
Oh, wow.
I think only womb.
I think there's
That's a
varying
good question,
degrees.
though.
Yeah.
I think only womb.
Only
Yeah.
womb. So
It's a great distinction to
Right?
make
Yeah.
because on the other end, Cynthia, Ryan and I, as you guys know, took us forever to conceive, and we were contemplating all of our options. If we couldn't conceive naturally, we were going through fertility treatments, and we said, like, is adoption on the table? Is surrogacy on the table? Surrogacy in Canada is not something that's discussed quite the same way as it is in the United States. Our laws are different here, for example, but we actually contemplated that, and I was like the petty one where I said, if we ended up going the route of surrogacy and I gave my egg and Ryan gave his sperm, I think I'd be the opposite. I think I'd be a little more Kim K, where it's, thank you very much, but I'm going to have separation of church and state.
Yeah.
And explain to the child later what their conception story was. But I don't think I'm that person to have the carrier in my life. I think for me, I don't know why, it's a strange intimacy that I don't know that I'd be comfortable with.
I don't think you're alone in
So
that.
I think I would separate it, but I'd be thankful if I actually chose that route, would have been able to do that for me. Like, what a beautiful way to have a family.
See, I don't think you're alone in that, as evidenced by what Joanne said. And I think that, listen, I have no interest in getting pregnant for myself or for somebody else.
I thought you were about to break news, but I carry your baby.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to carry anyone's baby, not my own. I would, though, when I was thinking about listening to this conversation, because I was just asking Cynthia, womb or egg or both or whatever.
Yeah.
I am an egotistical that way, and I would give my egg away. I'd be like, have my egg.
No, I'm
Make a
gonna
baby
challenge
with my
you.
egg, because, I'd be like, I'm ready.
Oof.
The world needs more me's.
Okay, I
just don't want to create them.
I had a girlfriend when I was going through university, and to help, this is going to be something very controversial I'm going to say. I'm not endorsing this. It's very lucrative for a woman to give up her eggs to a fertility clinic. I don't know what the laws are today, but this
How
was
lucrative?
a long time ago. Very lucrative.
Lainey!
To pay off a lot
eggs
of
are old.
No, she paid off student debt, student loans for university. She did it twice.
Yeah.
And she was also very coveted because of her physical features. And I said to her, you are going to biologically, potentially have dozens, because she gave up dozens of her eggs to couples who are very thankful for her eggs. She biologically, potentially has many children out there. I just want to put that out there.
This is what I mean. I mean, that's where the ego in me is like,
Well, it would
wow.
be good news for Lainey to have that many kids